That looks good. What's that?
It's wine unknown. Welcome to Wine Unknown. I'm your host. My name is Bryant Fennell, also known as Bright Guy, and I'm a wine specialist. What does that even mean? Well, it means that I know a lot of information about wine, and I want to share that along with my passion with you guys. So no matter where you're at in your journey, no matter if it's the beginning, the middle, well, let's face it, there's no such thing as the end. This is the show for you. So we're almost finished with the noble grapes. That's amazing, right? We have 2 more left, just 2 more. So today we are going to focus on Syrah. I mean, most people say Shiraz, but you're both right. It's Syrah and Shiraz. What? I know. So we'll jump into that in a little bit, but just sit back. Hopefully you're on your commute somewhere and you're listening to this, or you're just jotting down notes, getting ready for whatever certificate you're looking for. And you get some really cool facts from this episode, alright? So let's just jump into it. And yeah, that's just that. Alright. Let's do it. So Syrah, or Shiraz, however you want to pronounce it, it's the same grape varietal, just from different places, you know? So how can it be the same, but different? It's agriculture, so grapes travel, you know? Agriculture, like, people try to plant things wherever they can. They take what they know, and then they try to apply it wherever they go. And in most cases, they actually take the vine from where it's from and take it to wherever they're going. And like, all right, I'm going to start it here. And that's how this grape varietal pretty much has traveled the world. I guess you would say that's the best way to just sum that up, right? But originally, it's from France. Okay. So it's this red grape in the Rhone Valley. Northern Rhone, though, not in southern as much. It's just in the top part of Rome because it's perfect. It's ideal climate for it. It's warm enough and it's cool enough where this grape can work, for the sheer fact that this red grape varietal, right? It's pretty hard to harvest in a sense that you won't get like a full bunch or bundle that's fully ripe. It's in bits and pieces. It's not all the way there. It can be early, but it's never late. It's always, you're just going to sit there and just like, you know, you got to make the call. And it's just like, all right, I see a good amount of it. Seems like that this grape is ripe, or this bunch is ripe. So I'm just going to forget the rest of it. It kind of works like that. So it's in that weird, what do you say? I guess in our world, it would be like if you have, I can't even say if you have children, but as you're growing, you notice like, oh, this top says that it's this size, and I know I'm this size, but it doesn't quite fit. I think I need to go either a size up or a size down for it to sit on me how I would like for it to sit for this look. That's the best way to kind of explain it. You know, it's weird. I know, I get it. I know it's super confusing. That's why we're not going to jump into the agricultural side of the grape varietal. Besides, it's a red grape. And in France, some areas in France, they do use it as a rosé. So there's that, you know, as that blending grape, you're going to see a lot of it in the pink stuff from France. You know, the red stuff, you're looking for a particular area for it that's known for it, and that would be the Rhone Valley. And that's where this bad boy shines. But the Rhone Valley is like really a massive place. It's not as big as, of course, Bordeaux or Burgundy, but it's right there. Right under Burgundy is the Rhone Valley, and vertically north to south there's this river, the Rhone River, and all the winemaking is just following that. It's close to, it's right there. I don't know how else I can illustrate that, but it's just a tight area that just hugs that river that's going north to south. And these wines typically have a heavier weight to them on the mouthfeel, but they also have a higher alcohol percentage. Like we're talking about 13.5 to 14.5. And with that, they usually have good acidity because of so many different things that's happening within their terroir that we'll discuss further down the line when we actually talk about each section of all these different places. So yeah, they are something that you should definitely look at if you're looking into red wine. If you're a Cabernet Sauvignon drinker, this is an alternative to it because it's kind of like Merlot, but it's not exactly the same as Merlot for the sheer fact that it does have softer tannins, but yet this flavor profile is real similar to a Cabernet Sauvignon, just without the same amount of astringency. A slight difference that you would get aromatically would be like leather, licorice, and tar. Those are some things just like to give the difference. But in general, you're still just going to get like the blueberry, the dark fruits like plum, blackberries, blackcurrant. You're going to get like cacao, vanilla. You're still going to get all of that stuff. But those other ones, those aromatics such as the licorice, the leather, and the tar, that's going to let you know, all right, this is a little bit different. Just to set it apart. Just to set it apart even more for vegetarian dishes for it to pair with. There's so many options. You can go with grilled vegetables. You can go with mushroom dishes, lentil soup. But not only that, I mean, you have olive that it goes with. You have stuffed peppers that it goes with. Of course, it's going to go with like the beef stews, and for cheeses, of course, the blue cheese or the what we would know as Roquefort. Those are the ones that has like the blues kind of like veins within it. Charcuterie, roast beef, and grilled lamb. Like these are just like perfect pairings. But enough about just France. Like that's just France. What about California? What about the Central Coast in Cali, where there's so much being grown and so much being made? Oh my goodness, that we don't get that experience throughout the world. Yes, I was unaware that Syrah was a big thing in Central Coast, California. Until I was working at, what is that? City Winery with Ethan Lindquist. Yes, I guess you would say the son of the legendary winemaker Bob Lindquist from Coupe. And he actually informed me on the Central Coast, like Santa Barbara. He loaded out all of these great wines that I wouldn't have associated. So, yes. So, I learned something. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from this guy, and he even has his own too, and that was amazing. But yes, so there is Syrah here in the USA that's being made, that's being produced, and we're just not known for it because you have the king of reds, which is Cabernet Sauvignon, just taking over. That's all everybody pretty much want. The noble, this is a noble grape too, but the noblest of red grapes. I don't know, definitely if it's coming out of Cali, people are only checking for that grape varietal, But in the Central Coast and Cali, it gets really cold. It's not even just the Central Coast. I lived in Cali for a little bit, and it gets cold at night. In the early AMs, it is freezing. You are going to have a coat on, not a jacket, a coat. You want to it's looking like you're in Pennsylvania the way you want to dress during like the later at night hours going into the early in the morning hours. It's cold. So it makes sense as to why this grape varietal would work, because it's perfect, because it's hot, but yet it's cold. So you're going to get a lot of great flavor profiles and aromas from the grape, such as like ripe blueberry and blackberry. You're going to get all of the same characteristics that you normally would get anywhere else, because that's what the grape gives. But the fruit itself tastes different in the climate because it's a cooler one. So it's going to have a little bit more acidity to it, as opposed to if it comes from a hotter climate where it doesn't taste as acidic, but it's juicier. And that's why wines from here are great, and they're so food friendly. Like, this is the perfect wine to have a charcuterie board with. Like, what I'm throwing on there would be like, of course, salami, chorizo, copa, smoked meats just in general. But as far as cheeses, of course, aged cheddar, Gouda, Brie, Manchego, like things like that, because all of the contrast and similarities that they all have together. But even still, because you need more than just that. So you can throw some almonds, walnuts, all of that kind of stuff on there. You can throw some dried figs, apricots, all of that, But you do need some bread, like a baguette. And it's so versatile, and it's just going to adapt to whatever combination you put. That's why Syrah is great. That's just that. Like, that's just that. It blew my mind once I start doing all this. Once people start taking me outside, that's what it became. Like, because you don't know how to enjoy wine until you have food and company. Like, you can sit in your room and just taste, but that's not it, because it's all about that experience. And there's so many different cultures, etc. And people just expose you to things. And if you're willing to accept them, then it broadens your horizon to Australia, where they call it Shiraz. So that had me so confused at first, because I'm like, wait, what? Is this a whole different grape? And then throughout my studies, I've learned that no, it's the same grape, just in a different place. And they feel like calling it Shiraz or Syrah. Oh my goodness. It was confusing to me in the beginning, but I get it. It's the same grape, just in different places, and how people enunciate. So it's Shiraz when you're in Australia. And these are the most overlooked wines. They are fantastic, I tell you. Like, yo. I mean, all right, let me preface you with, okay, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, these wines won't be for you, because you're going to get a lot of like gaminess, a lot of like outback. That's the best way to do that. Outback kind of like flavors and aromas from it. They won't be like pungent, but if you're not into it, it's going to stick out so much. But if you're used to eating like barbecue or meat or anything like that, then it's subtle. It's subtle. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic. I know. But I like it. I like it because it's something different. It's something different. And this is from the Syrah grape variety that I'm just coming off of. So it's like, oh snap, this is different, but it's the same. Oh, okay. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah, Syrah just in general. I mean, not even just to do just in general, but Shiraz. I mean, come on, like, what kind of food do you expect for me to have with it? Of course, I'm going to go barbecue, no matter if it's barbecue rib, no matter if it's barbecue snake, no matter if it's barbecue, like, turtle. I don't care. Like, bring it on. You can throw some carrots on there, asparagus. You can throw whatever you want because I love that smokiness, right? I love that depth of that char that sits in the meat or the foods itself. And that's going to play off of that smokiness, that gaminess and the tannins of the Shiraz. Like, it's beautiful. It's a harmony. Like they say, like, simile, just like eat what's like, eat and drink what's like, you know? And I'm like, all right, that's fine. That's cool. So that's going to automatically work because they both have that smokiness. They both have that char, yada, yada, yada. But what if you want to be different? What can you do? Oh, take a moment, think about that. If I'm sitting there trying to be the extreme opposite, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to try a sharp cheese like goat cheese because it has the acidity, but this wine has the acidity. So that's going to work with those kind of cheeses that are creamy. What else? Food related wise, I guess you would say. I mean, that is a food, but that's a cheese. Same thing. Whatever. Outside of barbecue, what am I going to do with a Shiraz? You can do a hamburger, like a burger from, like, what is that? One of the fast food restaurants that you order from, In-N-Out or Burger King or McDonald's, whatever. You could do something like that, you know? You can sit Checkers. Like, there are places that you can do this. Checkers is probably not nationally known or anything like that, but you know, like, you can do all of these different things, you know, like, oh man, rotisserie chicken again. Yes, like everything that France can do, this can do, but this can also do on a whole nother level as well. Thank you for checking out this episode of Wine Unknown. Once again, I'm your host, Brian Fennell, also known as Bright Guy. And wow, did we just have a little fun time with Syrah or Shiraz, depending on where it's from. I think you've learned a little bit more than what you know. So I'm happy with that. But we also did discover that if you don't want Cabernet Sauvignon and to pay the price point for a Cabernet Sauvignon, you know that this is another alternative to go to Cabernet Sauvignon that's outside of Merlot. If you're born around the sideways movie thing, whatever. Make sure that you tell your friends about this if they are into wine or not. It doesn't matter. Like, you want everybody to be more knowledgeable about the wine buying process. That's just that. You want them to make better decisions like you want to make better decisions, and that's cost efficient. You want people just to know. Just like I want people to know. I want my friends to do better. So I'm pretty sure you want your friends to do better too. All right. All right. I'm just having fun. Don't mind me. All right. This was a great episode. Hopefully you guys had fun. You learned a little bit of something. Subscribe, share, do all those things that other people ask you to do. And see you next week. Next week, I will be on vacation. I'll be out with my son somewhere on the beach. But an episode will drop. So I look forward to that. Hopefully you do too. And ciao.